police report. And I do see on the 700 Tree Mountain Parkway. So my concern is this, ma'am, and I just want to confirm this. They do have the address of a 7,000, which may be an apartment complex. You understand? If it's an apartment complex and it does not have a suite or an apartment number, he would never receive notice. We need to confirm what, I can't hear you, ma'am, you're on mute. I can't hear anything you're saying because you're on mute.
7,000 is a apartment number. I live at like 5400 building. That 5400 is an address. So 7,000 is an address, even though it's.
I understand. I'm not disputing what it could be an address. I mean, it could be a solid address or it could be a building. I'm not saying that it couldn't be. What I'm saying to you is that I've identified that, and I very well have seen that there was a letter sent out to that particular address. What I'm expressing to you is we very well may have your matter reset. I'm not saying that you're not going to be heard and the case is being dismissed. That is false. That's not the case. What I'm saying is, for the basis of where we are and the cases that we have on this calendar, you very well would be reset because we do not have a defendant here today. That's
but what does that have to do with me that he didn't show up? Like this happened in Ms. June Hanks, 25th.
I understand, Ms. Hanks, and we have cases where they've been going on for over 2 years.
But so, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Ms. Hanks, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not. I'm really here to help people get justice. But I have to do that and help as many people as I can in the time that I have. And I'm not saying that you won't be helped, but I'm saying that we have 8 cases on our calendar. So what I'm suggesting to you and what I'm going to ask my clerk respectfully is to see when the next calendar is. Now, you can wait. And
sir, I'm a real estate broker in 2 states. I don't have time with y'all like this, sir.
Ma'am, I'm not trying to argue with you. Do I look like an argumentative person? Do you think
I
really
me neither. Like, this what I'm saying.
So we're not going to argue. Clerk, when's the next reset day?
Man, this is some bullshit. Man, this is crazy. Like, oh my God, this man could have freaking killed us and they study doing this shit. This is crazy, man. This is real crazy. Well, look at here.
Clerk, can you tell me the next reset day?
I am verifying it right now.
Let me just remind you that you're on Zoom with the judge. Now, I understand everybody's at home and everybody's
Judge, you don't understand my frustration. This man could have killed me and my kids. What would y'all have told my fucking parents if that man killed us?
I understand.
And you talking about resetting this? I'm angry. Man, look at here.
But I understand that you're in court right now, and I understand that you're upset. But
court can't understand how upset I am because this man could have killed me and my children.
Clerk, can you
and the fact that you talking about reset this again?
Man, come on. Mute this lady, because apparently I can. Thank you. I'm calm. I'm patient. I want to give everybody an opportunity. I just want everybody to be respectful. But if you can't be respectful, you're not going to get anything. Please.
I ain't getting that anyway.
And there she goes.
So Judge,
we'll come back to. Do we have a date?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Is the computer? It won't.
Don't worry, we'll get back.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I know it's sometime in August, but I can't.
Give her a reset date shortly. Don't worry. We're going to give everybody an opportunity to be heard. Don't worry. All right, the next case I just want to address that doesn't have anybody here. Ms. Sproul, you are here dealing with the allegation that of harassing phone calls, repeated calls. The alleged offense date is for March 29th, 2023.
Your Honor, it's not just for harassing calls, it's for death threats as well and threats of violence.
And some of those may be felonies, and if those are felonies, those wouldn't be applicable here. What we have here this evening are harassing phone calls. You have to remember that if there are allegations of a felony, we cannot hear those this evening. Right? Okay. All right. So that is the allegation specifically that is being made. I am happy to hear a little bit of background evidence, but as you probably witnessed earlier, we can get really deep if we go too deep about background. We hear about the allegations that are being made. So with that, let me get you under oath as well as Ms. Lewis under oath. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and the penalty and perjury of the law?
I do.
Ms.
I
Brown?
do.
All right, excellent. All right, Ms. Brown, the floor is yours. You'll have until about 7:21 to tell us about what's going on from this incident.
Okay, so just a quick background. I met an individual, David Rawlins, in January. We quickly became really close, really fast, spent a lot of time together. He told me that he was single, but that he was still involved with his daughter's mom. But it wasn't a monogamous situation. It was not a monogamous situation, basically on the strength of his daughter, and that he would not be even hanging around her if it wasn't for his daughter. So we proceeded to have a relationship. In March, I don't know if you have my email that has all the timeline and all the text messages and things of that nature. That's when I received my first communication from Miss Lewis. And at that time, I did not respond to her. It's unfortunate that I have to say this in front of my child, but the communication said, "So you want Dave to feed you and fuck you?" That's not happening. This man has a whole family with a 4-year-old child. Girl, please don't entertain him and his bullshit and lies before this gets out of control. Woman to woman, thank you. I did not respond to that. I screenshot it to him, which is also in the evidence, saying, "What is this about?" His response was like, "Oh, get the F out of here. I can't believe this." I said, "Listen, handle your situation, because you're telling me that this lady is just your baby mom's and you would not have anything to do with her if it wasn't for that." So I say, "Handle it." He says, "I think she saw when the phone rang and took your number." He said, "Yeah, well, he'll handle it." In conversations after that, he told me, yes, he handled it. I should not receive any more communication from her. She understands not to contact me anymore, no problems. There were no problems again up until May. In May, I was at his house. We were pulling out of his driveway in his vehicle. It was the evening. There was a car parked in front of his house with the lights on. Once he saw the car, he started driving like a bat out of HE double hockey sticks. And then I was like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And then his phone started ringing. You know, it comes up on the car screen. And then this person kept calling. It said Beverly. He kept hanging up. So I later found out that that was his child's mom. And I guess, I don't know if she was surveilling him or what, but that was not the first time that I was at his house, but that was the first time that I ever saw her.
And Ms. Pearl, I don't want to rush you too much, but I do want to tell
Okay.
you 7:21, and we haven't gotten to that date where you're talking about the harassment.
Okay. So in between 5:28 and okay, so the first phone call that I got from her where I actually answered was on 6:13. She calls me. As soon as I answered the phone, she starts yelling and screaming, "Stay the fuck out of my life." I asked, "Who is this and what's the problem?" She says, "This is Beverly. You don't know who Beverly is?" I said, "No, I don't know any Beverly." She says, "You know Dave?" I said, "Yes." She says, "I'm his wife." I said, "Dave's not married." She said, "Well, I'm his woman." She asked if I was the one she saw that Sunday at his house. I did not answer. She went off on a tangent about different things, including that he gave her syphilis and gonorrhea. And I said to her, I said, listen, if Dave is truly your man, please take this up with him. Don't stop contacting me. This has nothing to do with me. If he's really your man, don't contact me.
So Ms.
That's
Pearl,
when she
tell me about the
threatened to
harassing
kill
phone
me.
calls.
I'm sorry.
And you said, when did the harassing phone calls happen?
This is on June 13th.
Okay.
So the initial contact was March. This phone call where I actually answered the call was on June 13th. She threatened to kill me and throw acid on me if I continue to see him. And I simply said to her, I said, "Well, I guess you're going to kill me because I'm going to continue to see him." And I hung up. I asked her to, and before I hung up, I asked her to stop contacting me. On 6:13.
Okay. This is not that time yet.
Okay, sorry.
All right, because you're over. So what I'm going to do, Attorney Woodlaw, I'm going to allow you to go ahead. You've got till about 7:25 to give an opening regarding this matter. I appreciate it.
Okay, good evening, Your Honor, and may it please the court.
Of course.
I'm here today on behalf of my client, Ms. Beverly Lewis, a woman who has found herself at the center of a personal crisis, dragged into an unfortunate public spotlight through no fault of her own. The petitioner in this case is seeking a warrant alleging harassment and intimidation. However, this court should strongly scrutinize the motives behind her petition before granting such a serious request. This is not truly a matter of harassment or intimidation, but rather a strategic attempt to prevent a personal secret from being unveiled and to improperly make use of this state's judicial process. The petitioner was entangled in an extramarital affair with Mrs. Lewis' lover and is not here today because she fears for her safety, as she claims, or that she ever did. Instead, she hopes to use this warrant to insulate herself from the potential repercussions of her actions, repercussions which lie not within the jurisdiction of this courtroom, but within her own marriage. Further, she seeks to use the judicial process to exact revenge, since she has apparently lost their lover's quarrel and the object of these two women's affection chooses to remain with Mrs. Lewis. Evidence which will be presented to this court would demonstrate that the communication between Ms. Lewis and the petitioner were not filled with threats or intimidation, but just a justified expression of the emotional turmoil that often results in these kind of situations. Secondly, the communication was back and forth until petitioner decided to stop it via text. And third, that after her threat to make use of the judicial process was made to my client, no substantial communication took place after that date. Additionally, we have the firsthand account of Mr. Rowlands, the lover they were quarreling over, and he's ready to testify that there was no instigation or encouragement from Ms. Lewis to harass or intimidate the petitioner. Your Honor, we respect and understand the significance of this court's authority to grant warrants when necessary. However, we urge you to consider the underlying motives and the evidence at hand. This court should not be used as a shield for those attempting to hide personal indiscretions. In this case, a warrant would not serve justice, but would rather contribute to an attempt to distort it. In conclusion, we request this honorable court to consider the merits of the case, the true nature of the allegations, and the actual motivations of the petitioner before granting this warrant application. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, folks. So, Ms. Sparrow,
Yes.
I understand I saw some of your email evidence. Or do you want to start with that, or do you want to start with your witness? Now, mind you, I'm going to share this evidence.
Oh, please do.
Okay.
Do I want to start with, I didn't hear what you said. Do I want to start
Would
with?
you like to start with your witness, which I believe is the young man, or would you like to start with it is getting late? Or would you like to start?
Okay, I want to continue with the email evidence and then I'll bring my son in.
Okay. Hold tight.
Yeah.
Tight. I managed to find it. Let me just make sure I've got it. Now your timeline may not be introduced because this is really an out-of-court situation. I mean, it's not really. Get your text messages popped up. Hold tight.
Okay.
And counsel, I didn't see any evidence from you yet. I just wanted to make sure to see if you sent any.
Yes, Your Honor. I sent some maybe about 30 minutes ago, Your Honor.
All right. All right, clerk, if you can. I haven't seen it. All right. Sharing my screen. Now I'm going to scroll up here because I don't want to. So, Ms. Sparrow, we got a lot of text messages. Let me tell you something, folks. I've done a lot of these hearings where I have a third party quarrel type situation, and I don't know who a third party is. There may not be any third party, but what I want to just be clear about, I do see always a lot of back and forth text messages. I don't want to get lost in the sauce on these matters. So what I mean is, tell me what text message that may very well really be relevant to this incident.
Okay, so Your Honor, let me point out there are no back and forth text messages. There are all aggressions from her. The only response that you will see from me is a mistaken auto response that I hit where it says, please text me. I hit that by mistake going through her text. That's just an auto response. But everything is from her. She contacted me on WhatsApp. She contacted me from a fake number, and she contacted me from her own phone number. You will see no responses from me because there was no back and forth. I have no malice towards this woman. I just wanted her to leave me
Well, hold
alone.
on, Miss Pearl. So hold on.
Mhm.
Tell me what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you're looking at. That's not from me.
Yes, Your Honor, that's our evidence.
Oh, that's your evidence. Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Sparrow, it's concerning. I only see a timeline from you. Do you have any other?
Yeah, the timeline is the text messages. It breaks down, the timeline breaks down every message that I got from her, whether it was from WhatsApp, whether it was from her phone. It also the information that I text to him. It has everything. It's all the harassment.
Just hold on. I understand, but the way you have it here, just trying.
If you go to the top, I can go from it. It's broken down from the beginning to the end.
Let me see here. We'll try to introduce this. This is the magistrate court. I'll let you at least have this introduced. Counsel, I know you haven't seen this evidence before, but nonetheless, this is what we have here. All right. I'm going to scroll to the top, ma'am.
Yeah, that's it.
So are these the messages that you're indicating that were sent to you?
Yes. So that's the initial, that's her first contact. So you want Dave to feed you and F you. And then that's me screenshotting it to him, asking him, the one in green next to it is the one me screenshotting it to him, I believe, asking him, what is this about? You told me that she's just your baby mom and you would not be with her otherwise. Why she contacted me? That's on 3/9 where I sent it to her. Where I sent it to him saying, what is this about? If you can further scroll and you can see his response. He's like, oh, get the F out of here. I think she snuck my phone.
Okay.
All right. On 5/28, that's my information.
These aren't specific text pictures, so you could have typed anything respectfully. So I'm not going to focus on what you've typed.
Okay, but I did show screenshots of evidence that she actually did call me. So that's just stating what was said during the call.
And you believe that's her number?
You can see Dave's baby mom, Beverly. You can see the initial one. If you go back up, Your Honor, you can see where she called me. And I talked to her for like 2 minutes and then told her to stop calling me. And then she called me back again and I did not pick up that call. When I went and answered her call, she began sending me text messages with threats of physical violence, even though I asked her not to contact me further. You could see her saying things, you're gonna regret it if I catch you, I'm gonna fuck you up. And other expletives about her vagina and things like that just makes no sense. Then she starts sending me pictures of her and him on vacation in California. She also harassed me through WhatsApp, which she deleted. You can see in the evidence that she I guess got wise.
You're breaking up, ma'am. I can't hear you now.
To what she was doing and started deleting her messaging. Okay. You will note that you see no response from me. It's all aggression from her. You see no so there's no back and forth, Here you see where I asked him, I thought you handled your baby mom. She called me and she's threatening me to throw acid on me and things like that. And these are communications between he and I. She saw these communications and the verbiage that she used from these communications, you can see in the evidence where she's saying, oh, bitch, he's not going to get you lipo and all this stuff, is directly based on some demands that I asked of him. He had asked me to wait until he calmed her down. And I said, well, if you want me to wait around for you, you're going to have to do some things for me. One, the vacation you promised me. Two, I need some thigh lipo. and she directly spoke to that. So she was monitoring his calls. I'm sorry, Your Honor, you're going so fast. It's a lot of
I know
contact from her.
we're trying to
A
be
lot of
respectful of time.
harassment from her. So there's a lot of evidence there. And once again, I will point out, you don't see me responding to her. It's all aggression from her. And then the worst part was when my son answered the phone, and that's why he's here as a witness. He was playing video games on my phone, and she threatened to throw acid on my 13-year-old child. So at this point, it had escalated to a point where it's just out of control. Once you involve a child, you're out of control. So I have to believe that your threats are real. You're gonna tell a 13-year-old child that you're gonna throw acid on.
All right, Ms. Burrow.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have, before, and Attorney Wardlaw, I understand this is evidence and this doesn't necessarily provide an opportunity for you to cross-examine anyone at this juncture. But Ms. Burrow, so for the respective time, let's go ahead and get your witness out here. We'll get your witness out here, and then I'll allow Mr. Wardlaw to go ahead and cross-examine you and or that witness, and then he'll go ahead and have his case in chief, okay? So let's get that, clerk, if we can get that witness out here, that young man.
All right, and my apologies, there are now 2 people in the waiting room, so I just want to make sure. Is it Mr. Edwards?
No, I believe it's the
Johnson? Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, I believe it's Mr. Johnson.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm letting the right person in.
No
Thank you.
worries. For me.
Yes, sir.
And how old are you, young man?
13.
All right, can you speak up a little bit for me? I can't hear you that well.
All right, I'm 13.
All right, excellent. Can I get you under oath? Is that your right hand?
Your right hand, baby.
Oh, sorry, right here, yeah.
Oh, if you don't know, you're not supposed to know what hand to put up. It's all right. It's all right. You swear, affirm, and tell the truth, the whole truth under penalty and perjury of the law?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, Ms. Sparrow, this is your opportunity to ask him open-ended questions. Please do not try to color the young man's testimony. Please just ask him open-ended questions.
Okay. Kylan, the day that you were in contact with Miss Lewis, can you tell me what happened?
So basically, I was playing on my mom's phone, and then a random number called, and then I answered it. And then this random lady started saying like a whole bunch of cuss words. I don't know the specifics, but I know just like spitting out. I don't even know, just like cuss words and different stuff at me, and threats and stuff.
Okay. What was your response to her cussing at you?
Because I got mad, I was saying stuff back like B word. I mean, like suck my B word.
Okay, so you said some expletives to her.
Yes.
And what was her response to you?
She said, I'm gonna throw acid on you.
Okay. At that point, tell me what happened after that.
So basically, my mom got on the phone and said, you know, you're talking to a child, and then she proceeded to continue started saying threats and stuff for you.
And Your Honor, I will note, I'm sorry, and that's it with Kylan. I will note that she knew that she was talking to a child.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, you can't. That's not what we do here, you know. But hold tight, hold tight. So, Kylan, now there's going to be an attorney that's get to ask you some questions. All right. So I just want to have you prepared that Attorney Wardlaw may ask you some questions. All right. Mr. Attorney Wardlaw, do you have any questions for Mr. Johnson?
I do. How you doing, Colin?
Good.
Okay. Would it be true would it be true if I said, I'm sorry, let me back up. The lady on the phone, she never identified herself as Miss Lewis, did she?
No, sir.
And you said it was 2 ladies. Is that correct?
No, it was 1.
It was 1. And what did she say her name was?
She didn't say her name.
Do you remember the phone number
No, sir.
that the call was from?
No, sir.
And the date that this happened was 6/22, correct? Like June 22nd, 2023?
But I know it was during the summer.
Okay. And your testimony was you told her to suck your private parts.
Yes, sir.
And your testimony is that, I mean, there was a lot of going back and forth after you told her to suck your private parts. Is that?
Yes, but my mom went on the phone first, and then she started saying, "Oh, like stuff like more threats," and then that's when we got back and forth.
Was it? I mean, would it be a true statement that you wanted to defend your mom?
Actually, it was the other way around. My mom wanted to defend me.
Yeah. Did your mom tell you that this person was bothering you? Did your mom tell you the person was bothering her before you got on the phone?
No.
Oh, okay. How did you get this person's number?
We did it. It was just a random phone number, and then I answered it.
Yeah. So you answered your mom's phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sparrow, do you have any other questions for Mr. Johnson?
Not for Mr. Johnson, but I do have a few statements about that phone call.
We don't do statements. We don't do
Okay.
statements. Okay, so if that's it for Mr. Johnson, I
Yes.
appreciate you. You're free to go. It is 7:39. I don't know. It's time for bed, maybe. Who knows? It's summertime. All right. So if you have any other witnesses, Ms. Sparrow, we might be getting here close on time. Do you have any other witnesses?
No, I have no other witnesses, just the evidence of all the screenshots and such.
And that's what you produced to the court as far as in that timeline, is that correct?
Yes, I also have additional evidence of the recorded phone call.
Okay, did you email that to the court? Because we didn't have that.
Yes, I did.
And I don't see any record.
I absolutely did. I emailed it yesterday because it said we had 24 hours. I got an email that said we had 24 hours before court to get it in. And so, yes, I emailed it yesterday morning, I believe.
Hold on. I think I see it. Hold tight. No, this is from Beverly. I don't see any. Ms. Harris, where is a hold on. And Ms. Sparrow, all I have here is just the timeline. So what we're going to do is allow Attorney Wardlaw to go ahead and do the cross-examination, and then we'll move into their case in chief, all right? And then we'll keep this case matters flowing. So go ahead, Mr. Attorney Wardlaw.
Okay, it's Miss, how do you pronounce your last name?
Sproul.
Miss Sproul.
Sproul.
Okay. Miss Sproul, it'd be fair to say that your marriage isn't going very well. That'd be a correct statement, right?
There's no marriage. I've been separated for 8 years. We just haven't gotten divorced. We are quite amicable in raising our children together. And so it's actually going great.
But you are still legally married?
I'm still legally married on paper. We have not been a couple for 8 years.
And it would be a fair statement to say that you were really infatuated with David.
It would not be a fair statement. It would be a fair statement to say that he and I got really close really quickly. We would be on the phone with each other for hours at a time. We spent a lot of physical time together. He took me out all the time. I've been to his house. So no, I'm not infatuated with Dave. Sorry.
Okay. And those numbers, those phone numbers that you showed, those are different numbers.
There's a number, Zoe Campbell, that she called me from.
The 622.
It says, yeah, it says Zoe Campbell. She called me from a block number. I mean, one of those numbers where you can pretend like you're someone else. And yes, it was her. She spoke about Dave. She spoke about killing me if I continue to see him and so forth.
I mean, okay. Would you be surprised to learn that the messages you had on 622 were not with Beverly?
On 622? Hold on, let me see.
If I said they were with her daughter, would that surprise you?
I would say this, if it is her daughter, which to me would be ridiculous, she sanctioned it. She gave her daughter my information. So it's just, she's adding other people to the harassment, and her daughter is an adult from what
But
Dave told me.
Your son did speak. You do allege that your son spoke with her.
Yes, it's the same accent, the same verbiage about throwing acid. Like, how many people say they're going to throw acid on somebody? It's the same stuff about Dave. So if it is her daughter, she sanctioned it and told her daughter to do it.
Did you ever check the numbers to make sure they matched?
It was the same number. It was the same number. The only number that was different was from Zoe Campbell, the fake number that they came up with. That's the only one that was different.
Okay. I'm looking over.
I don't think he's bad. I think it just sold so much information.
And you said, when do you believe Miss Lewis learned of your affair? I just want to ask you that.
First of all, I don't know of anything about an affair. I know of a relationship that I had with Dave Rawlins that came fast and heavy. The initial contact she had with me was in March, where she sent me a text. And then I asked him to please tell, and I did not respond. I asked him to please tell her not to contact me again. He said that he told her not to contact me. I shouldn't have any further problems. Then once she see me coming from his house, everything just went crazy and it escalated. In addition, when she was in California with him, and she saw that he and I were calling and contacting each other, I didn't know she was in California with him. She really went crazy then, and that's when she called and told me she was going to kill me and throw acid on me.
So it's your testimony that she contacted you in March, but didn't contact you again until June?
Believe it was, hold on, let me look at my paperwork here. She first contacted me in March. She saw me at his house in May. And then, then she contacted me in June.
So when
she
contacted, okay. You kind of answered my question. So when she saw you in May, she didn't contact you?
No, she just argued with Dave, and Dave told me about their arguments.
So, I mean, considering Mrs. Lewis' situation, do you believe her being upset was justified if they were
absolutely not? Well, maybe being upset because maybe he's lying to her, and making her feel like, I don't know their relationship. He could be lying to me too. But what's not justified is threats of violence. And what's not justified is telling a child that you're going to throw acid on him. Once you escalate to that point, you are out of control. And I believe you when you tell me that these are the things you're going to do to me. So I have to act accordingly. As a mother, I have to protect my child. As a woman, I have to protect myself. You're saying that you're going to throw acid in my face? I have to protect myself. I have to take you seriously.
When did you stop?
She's not justified in the threats. No.
Are you still communicating with David?
Yes, I just spoke to him the other day.
So you still continue to see him?
Absolutely.
And I mean, but your testimony is that you're afraid what could happen to your son?
I believe that she's out of control, and that she does not have her feelings in check, and that these threats could actually be real.
And I'm almost done. Okay. And you were upset when you found out David tells her everything that you say to him. That made you upset.
I don't know anything about Dave telling her everything I say to him. I don't know anything about that.
So, I mean, I thought you said earlier, and I thought this was your testimony, that you told David something, and yet she knew about it, but she wasn't on the phone.
No, she was monitoring his phone.
How do you know?
He kept saying, because she would respond, the things that I wrote in text messages, she spoke directly to that. I had requested of him, if he wanted me to wait around while he gets her in check, that he had to do some things for me. So she responded by saying, oh, that's not going to happen. you and your kids, your gay ass son, he's not paying for y'all to go on a trip, which was exactly what I asked him for. He's not paying for your lipo, which is exactly what I asked him for. In his correspondence, he says, I don't know how she's getting in my phone. And if in the evidence, there's a text that I said, Dave, your phone is being tapped. And he says, I told you so. So that's how she's getting the information.
No, I have no further questions for that.